Every second, thousands of bottles of Coca-Cola are produced around the world. How do these preppen into carbonate beverage? How does pressure raw nitrate devoid its straturator? This is how Coca-Cola is made. In 1886, Coca-Cola was mixed by hand in a small pharmacy in Atlanta, Georgia. More than 1.9 billion servings of Coca-Cola beverages are consumed every day. To achieve this scale, the system must operate with extreme efficiency. What most people drink is not what most factories receive. Coca-Cola concentrate is not finished soda. It is konspirationstarie's flavors base and engineer licensing the definition it is chemistry. The structure of cola syrup includes several key components: sweeteners, caramel color, phosphoric acid, natural flavors, and caffeine. Each is engineered for a specific purpose. One of the most important measurements in syrup production is Brix. Brix measures dissolved solvent, ensures that when concentrate is diluted at the bottling plant, the final beverage will taste identical worldwide. The concentrate is blended in stainless steel mixing vessels designed for food-grade evaporage. Too cold, volatile management and derail period. Reproducibility is everything. Any cola flavor components are oil-based botanical extracts. Even though concentrate contains acidic components that inhibit bacterial growth, inline filtration removes particulate contaminants. Food-grade constant to protect malabsorption presence, HACCP protocols. Once blended and tested, concentrate is transferred into sealed containers for shipment. Temperature stability prevents flavor degradation. Oxygen exposure is minimized to preserve volatile cuts. Even trace microbial presence is unacceptable. After filtration, water passes through ultraviolet sterilization chambers. UVC radiation disrupts microbial DNA, microbial policy. After aggressive filtration, essential minerals may be reintroduced. Because carbonation depends on chemistry. If mineral levels shift, the texture of carbonation changes. Water is not just filler, it is a structural component. In many facilities, purification advances further. Under high pressure, water is forced through semi-permeable membranes. Water molecules pass. Dissolve salts, heavy metals, and contaminants do not. The process removes up to 99% of dissolved solids. Before sweetness, before carbonation, before bottling, there is water. Coca-Cola bottling forever it is. The goal is not just clean water, it is controlled water. Before water meets concentrate, it must be cooled. Lower temperatures increase carbon dioxide solubility during carbonation. Cooling also stabilizes flavor integrity. Municipal water is disinfected with chlorine, but chlorine reacts with flavor compounds. The first stage is mechanical filtration. Water passes through multi-layer sand or multimedia filters. These filters trap suspended solids. Sediment, rust-provocative particulates can clog valves or alter taste clarity. Water chemistry varies by region, but when a bottle of Coca-Cola is opened anywhere in the world, it tastes the same. That sameness begins here. Water is standardized, controlled, rebuilt to specification. This is the syrup room. It is here that purified water meets concentrate, but nothing is poured manually. Every drop is calculated. In high-speed beverage production, even a pulper taste is moldable. The blending process relies on flow meters and PLC systems. Mass flow meters measure the exact volume of each ingredient. The PLC compares the status specifications. If water flow increases, syrup flow adjusts instantly. This closed-loop mechanism ensures consistency. In some regions, high-fructose corn syrup is introduced separately from concentrate. Its viscosity requires heated pipelines to prevent crystallization and maintain pumpability. Industrial sweetener systems are engineered to prevent that shift. Agitators create controlled turbulence, ensuring uniform distribution of concentrate and sweetener throughout the water base. Turbulence must be sufficient to prevent stratification. Temperature affects solubility, viscosity, and carbonation behavior. Before moving to carbonation, blended syrup passes through heat exchangers. These systems optimize temperature in the next stage. Food production cannot tolerate residue. Between production cycles, clean-in-place systems or pinus systems are in the balance. The process is automated and documented digitally. Sanitation is not periodic, it is systematic. Industrial blending systems are built with redundancy, backup pumps, dual sensors, automated shutoff protocols. If ratio deviation exceeds tolerance thresholds, production stops automatically. Minor error review stops. At this point, water has been purified, concentrate has been measured, sweeteners integrated, temperature stabilized, sanitation balances, finishes are round uniform. Now, only one element remains: pressure and gas. Carbonation begins long before bubbles appear. Carbon dioxide used in beverage production is not captured casually. It is industrial-grade COP. Purest quality defines flavor purity. Before entering the beverage line, COP is filtered, dried, and compressed. Moisture removal prevents evaporation in chilled lines. Filtration removes increased pressure because pressure determines solubility. Carbonation is not simply mixing gas with liquid. The solubility of carbon dioxide in liquid is governed by Henry's law. Simply stated, the amount of gas dissolved in a liquid is proportional to pressure and inversely related to temperature. Colder liquid absorb. Carbonation is physics applied at scale. The key device in carbonation is the carbonation stone.
This porous stainless steel element forces carbon dioxide through microscopic openings. The smaller the bubbles, the greater the surface area. Greater surface area means more visible saturation. After initial diffusion, the liquid enters a pressurized carbonation chamber. Inside, pressure levels are tightly controlled. Pressure balance ensures that this determines final carbonation volume. For Coca-Cola, this specification is exact, because fizz is part of identity. Carbonation is measured continuously. Inline sensors calculate dissolved CO2 concentration in real time. If readings deviate, automatic adjustments occur immediately. Foam is carbon dioxide escaping. During filling, excessive foam leads to product loss and inconsistent fill levels. To control foam, carbonation levels, temperature, and ethylene must be filled rapidly without excessive gas escape. What begins as compressed industrial gas becomes the sound of a bottle opening. The sharper bubbles, the sharperation, and now that fizz is stable, the liquid is ready for its container. Before a bottle exists, there is polymer. Most Coca-Cola water content can weaken the final structure during molding. Material preparation begins long before shaping. The first physical form of a plastic bottle is called a preform. Injection molding machines melt PET pellets at temperatures exceeding 250 degrees Celsius. Molten polymer is injected and ensures sealing integrity later. Preforms are reheated until pliable. Then they enter a blow mold. A mechanical rod stretches the preform vertically. Simultaneously, high-pressure air. This creates a lightweight bottle with strength from molecular orientation. A carbonated beverage exerts internal pressure. Bottle bases are engineered in a petaloid shape, distributing stress evenly. If the base were flat, pressure would cause material usage as well maintaining string integrity. Every gram saved reduces cost and environmental impact at scale. Aluminum cans begin as flat sheet. Large coils feed into stamping presses that punch circular blanks. Each blank is drawn into a shallow cup, but the cup is not yet a can. It must be stretched and thinned. This is the beginning of the drawing and ironing process. In drawing and ironing, the aluminum cup is forced through progressively smaller rings. The walls become thinner, the height increases, the base remains thicker for strength. This reduces material use while maintaining structural integrity, yet capable of holding internal carbonation pressure safely. The top of the can is necked inward. This reduces aluminum usage in the lid. Inside, a thin polymer coating is sprayed and cured. Material science protects flavor. Within minutes of formation, bottles and cans move toward filling. No warehouse storage. No delay. Container manufacturing is synchronized with beverage production. This reduces contamination risk and improves efficiency. The container is not separate from the beverage. It is part of the system. The filling valve lowers and seals against the bottleneck. Carbon dioxide enters first, pressurizing the empty container. Then, carbonated liquid flows tube to the bottom of the bottle. Filling from the bottom upward reduces turbulence. Carbonated beverages cannot be filled like still liquids. If exposed to atmospheric pressure, dissolved CO escapes instantly. So Coca-Cola uses isobaric mean before liquid enters the bottle, the container is pressurized with CO2. This prevents sudden degassing. After filling, optical or laser sensors verify fill height. Underfilled bottles, refilled bottles create pressure inconsistencies. If DP lines concede tolerances of containers per hour, but each one is measured individually. Sealing must occur immediately after filling. Plastic caps are applied and tightened using torque-controlled heads. Too loose, carbonation escape. Too tight, cap threads may strip or bottleneck may deform. Tamper-evident ring. This protects both pressure and consumer trust. Cans require a different sealing mechanism. The lid is placed loosely on top. Then rollers form a balancing lid and body in two folded layers. No adhesive. Pure mechanical compression. The seam must withstand internal pressure without leaking. Each seam is inspected automatically. Before filling begins, containers must be sterile. Even newly formed bottles can collect airborne particulates, so bottles are inverted and rinsed with sterile final stage. This step prevents microchromates de water or fthanth. Random containers are pulled for destructive testing. Pressure chambers simulate extreme internal force. Burst testing ensures structural margins exceeds undergo seam micrometer inspection to verify proper interlocking thickness. Modern lines can exceed 1,000 bottles per minute. To achieve this speed, every subsystem must synchronize. Filling, capping, seaming, precision, multiplied. Cola's acidity and sugar inhibit microbes, but testing is mandatory. Samples are incubate bacterial or fungal growth. Contamination can compromise brand integrity. Under HACCP, detected microbes halt the line. Quarantine and analysis follow. Chemical verification ensures formula consistency. pH must remain within narrow tolerances. Acidity influences both flavor and microbial stability. Brix concentration. These numbers are beyond tolerance, so it's automatic batch with rejection. Taste is chemistry quantified. Carbonation is measured again after packaging. Sealed kid containers are tested for internal pressure. If CO2 levels drops, if pressure is too high, container stress increases. This balance ensures that when opened weeks later, the product performs identically to the moment it was sealed. Structural testing validates packaging strength. Compression tests. These destructive tests ensure safety margins exceed real-world conditions, because once product leaves the plant, control ends. For cans, seam integrity is critical. A double seam must meet exact dimensional tolerances. Too thin, risk of leakage. Too thick, risk of structural weakness. Micrometers measure overlap and compression. This inspection protects both carbonation and shelf life. Quality control begins in the laboratory. Every production batch is sampled and analyzed. Even though the process is automated, verification remains human supervised. Samples are tested flavor consistent. Vision systems inspect every container. High-speed cameras check. Fill level, cap alignment, or units are significantly. But final responsibility still belongs to engineering oversight. Every bottle carries a batch code. This code links back to production time, line number, ingredient batch, operator logs. If a recall is ever required, affected units can be identified and the brand. Quality control is not reactive, it is preventative. Once loaded, pallets enter the transportation network. Fleet management systems track truck locations in real time. Route optimization algorithms minimize fuel use and delivery time. This is not just trucking, it is data-driven logistics. The final mile is measured in feet.
And now, from shelf to hand. From production line to experience.
After stacking, pallets are secured. Stretch film or shrink wrap lock a movement. Transfer vibrations loosen improperly secured loads. Small packaging decisions ripple across thousands of miles. Retailers operate on lean inventory systems. Deliveries are scheduled to replenish stock just before depletion. Excess inventory ties up coalition network is calibrated to means losse. It is scheduled. While Coca-Cola is shelf-stable, temperature management influences product perception. Excessive heat can degrade flavor over time. In some regions, temperature-controlled storage improves shelf-consistable condition. Quality extends beyond the factory floor. In some markets, finished beverages travel internationally. In others, only concentrate crosses borders. Containerized shipping allows a flights to rights to international rights. Supply chains stretch across continents, but consistency remains local. Modern distribution centers operate with partial or full automation. Autonomous guided vehicles move pallets without human drivers. High-bay storage racks track pallet location digitally. Every movement is recorded. Over decades, engineers have reduced bottle weight dramatically. This process is called lightweighting. By refining base geometry and polymer orientation during stretch flow molding, structural strength is emission. Packaging efficiency drives sustainability. The story of a Coca-Cola bottle does not end after consumption. Used PET bottles enter rejected automatically. The goal is purity, because recycled polymer quality depends on contamination control. Modern bottling plants increasingly integrate renewable energy sources. Solar installations supplement grid power. High-efficiency motors reduce electrical consumption. Variable pump energy use. Industrial sustainability is measured, not assumed. Modern facilities integrate predictive maintenance systems. Sensors monitor vibration, temperature, and performance metrics. Machine learning algorithms identify patterns. This reduces waste, downtime, and energy loss. Carbon dioxide is both ingredient and emissions metric. Facilities track carbon output across manufacturing and logistics. Improved and fuel efficiency. Carbon emission agency. Once sealed and inspected, individual bottles move toward aggregation. Case packers group them into cartons. From there, robotic palletizers arrange cases in calculated stacking patterns. The pattern is not random. It just weighs evenly, preventing collapse during transport. Load stability is engineered. Sorted bottles are shredded into flakes. These flakes are washed to remove labels, adhesives, and residue. They are then melted and filtered to remove impurities. Finally, the polymer is extruded into new pellets, known as rPET. Because water is the primary ingredient, water stewardship is central to long-term strategy. Water used in production is treated before release. Many facilities watered restoration projects. The goal is water neutrality, replenishing the volume used in beverages.
What began as syrup in a pharmacy is now a Petra system. Dest is work from the power in metal. The fissile from Prince dissolved underway today, and how it will be made tomorrow.